we had me and Mayor Robertson from Waitomo had an online meeting with Minister Watts here, and got some things that they're looking for. I went and presented the Duffy for books at the Ōtorohanga School on Friday morning. That was actually really cool, really amazing. The kids reading that. We attended the Federated Farmers meeting at Mystery Creek, which was mostly about PC1, Plan Change 1, I think it is. And Minister Bishop and Minister Macleay were the speakers there. So mixing and mingling. Had a really cool night and got invited to the Ōtio Marae for the Matariki celebrations. It was really, really awesome occasion. They did up there kai really nicely and beautiful food. Nice wine. We went to a Head Start meeting in Tamarui. It was put on by the Ruapehu Federated Farmers. Just basically talking about amalgamation and different things. So had a workshop, another workshop day at council. We all attended. Got a Head Start meeting at Waikato University of Waikato. Just went along there to hear about that. Then we had the Waikato Mayors and iwi Chairs Forum, Rural Forum, which is at Narawaya. And interesting, all these amalgamation meetings, it's how organised we are in comparison to our surrounding districts. So, last week we went to Councillor Butcher and myself. We attended the kindergarten, the Ōtorohanga kindergarten, and for a Matariki breakfast. It was very cool. So a lot of people, got to look down everywhere you walk in case you walk on one. No, it was really awesome. So, and then we attended our Waikato Waters meeting, shareholders forum meeting on what was that, Thursday, Friday. Anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to since the last council meeting, among other things. But yeah, so take my, I guess, Jeffrey's got a question.
Yeah, a very comprehensive report, Rodney. You've been very busy. No, I was just curious. The meeting ahead with Feds down in Ruapehu, what was their feeling about?
The meeting was they had the mayor from Whanganui, and they also had the Ruapehu mayor and the Taupo mayor, and Mayor Waitomo, John, and myself. So they're basically the Whanganui. The feedback from their mayor is pretty much they're going to do nothing. They think they're not ready to do anything on the Head Start. The feedback from it was the Ruapehu mayor is and talk about a federation model, so he's kind of and Taupo were just kind of there being But we seem to have direction from our councils. All the rest are still working out options, and given that was a week ago. But yeah, I think we definitely don't have the issues that some of them have got, to be fair. But I guess some of it's a bit more complicated than what we've got. So, but all of the meetings that I've been attended to, we seem to be, we've got a path, we know what we're doing, got a direction, and all the other councils are still deciding what direction to go in, really. They're just still mucking around with their options. So I feel that thing for their staff, if they decide, like Waitomo's having a meeting, Taupo's having a meeting today, if they decide today they want to do this, someone's going to have to be floundering around behind the scenes having to do all the reports, write it up. But yeah,
they haven't got much time, have they?
No. But there was no real clear direction coming out of the meeting. Federated Farmers, basically, they want to keep that rural voice.
Yeah.
That's very much, even the Waikato farmers are pretty much supportive of what we're doing.
Yeah, I wondered about
people over there. So I guess that's the quandary they're in.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for that. And I'll second your report.
I'll just cancel the watch first.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Just with that Waikato Waters done well, just a little brief on the shareholders meeting, how things are going since.
The shareholders meeting was basically about what they need to appoint a couple more directors. So it's just a bit of direction on a budget, really, for it was but it's because Waipa and Waitomo started, so they're basically the CE whatever just said it's all pretty much going as planned, you know? But yeah, it's an organisation that'll drink a bit of money before before it gets up and running. That's how I see it. But yeah, they're short of 2 directors in this, in the constitution that they need. So, but it's about finding the right people. So the forum was really about the shareholders okaying them to go out to the, you know, to get the term and employ someone to go and find the right directors for the positions. Yeah. So my report's moved by Councillor Jeffries and seconded by Councillor Carr. Over. Jared. I'll just run through. Oh, I didn't do the confirmation of minutes. We jumped a step. Anyway, we'll just the minutes from the last meeting. Can I have a mover? Move to Councillor Barker, second to Councillor Butcher. In favour, any matters arising from those minutes? Councillor Barker moved it, Councillor Butcher seconded. Any matters arriving, because we had some new minute takers, she's ducked out. And just in case there could have been a few problems. No matters arising. Yeah. Great job, our new standing team did, and someone fixing it up. So now we're on to the first item we had was item 54, but we're just going to remove that for there's just some analysis. It's not quite correct, so don't worry about that at all. It's removed from the agenda. Yeah, we can have a question next time it comes up. Our forensic team found some problems. Yeah. That's right. So anyway, so we're moving on to the next item, which is Graham is presenting. Item 55 we're on now. The pages. You
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Rodney. So at this stage, council is required to start a representation review leading into the 2028 elections. This has been talked about through our Head Start proposals. It's likely that there's going to be some changes in legislation as a result of that, but until that happens, we're required to carry on with the process under the existing legislation. So when councils undertake a representation review, it's a very prescriptive timeline that's set out under the Local Electoral Act. And one of the first things that you have to do as part of that process, and this has to be done prior to the 12th of September, is decide on your voting system. So there's two options available. One is first past the post, and one is single transferable vote. This council has traditionally used first past the post, which is a very simple, easy to understand electoral system. The candidate with the highest number of votes is elected. If you've ever had somebody try to explain to you how single transferable vote works, it generally takes about half an hour, which we haven't got today. The actual voting itself is actually quite simple. You basically rank the candidates 1, 2, 3. You don't actually have to rank them all. It works well in councils, where they have like 15 nominations for mayor, but traditionally we don't have a lot of nominations. It's when it's how you actually decide who's elected. It's incredibly complex, and you can actually even end up in a situation where the person with the highest vote isn't necessarily elected. Because the way the votes transfer. So the recommendation in the report is to carry on with first past the post, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Graham. Any questions? Councillor Carr?
It's not really a question per se, like one of my best mates is a councillor in Plymouth and they use single transferable vote. In every election, he's got to fully explain how it works, like every time.
Yeah.
And so I can't see any reason why we need to change, to be honest, because what we've got is pretty simple and it works right. You know, it's not like we have hundreds of people standing for positions, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Thank you. Councillor Barker.
I'd just like to say, I think the biggest problem we've got is anticipation, is people participating in it. Well, I think first pass is fine, but somehow we've got to get more people to engage. Yep, sure. That's the challenge.
Oh, you want to step down? Yeah, no, I think it's first past the post seems simple to me. I always think of something else, STV. Sorry, but but anyway, it wasn't that either, Councillor Butcher. Yeah, but it's simple is good. I think just keep it simple. So we've got sorry, Councillor Barclay.
I probably already know the answer to this, but if the amalgamation happens, this topic might come back up.
Oh,
again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I've just had an email this morning from our electoral officer to say that like there's some councils are actually waiting, to see what happens with in September, so this resolution just could become invalid, if there's new legislation that comes out. And I think, with amalgamated councils, the current, unless the change of government, the current timeline around the Head Start proposal doesn't work with existing representation arrangements. So there's got to be a change in legislation to establish those new councils. So,
Yeah, I just, with my views on it, I like status quo for our current environment that we're in, but maybe if there was going to be a change, then maybe we would look at an STB sort of situation to try and gather a bit more, to see if we would get more representation. But yeah, for now, in this situation, in this environment, happy.
I think because because I mean Waitoma's not even up for a representation review, are they? So they won't even be having, if we didn't amalgamate, they won't be having this discussion at all.
No, you have to do them at least every 6 years. You can do them every election if you want to, but so the minimum is 6 years. So they did a representation review prior to the last election. We didn't, and so we're sort of out of step with them.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to read the whole resolution out. The staff recommendation on page 73. That the Ōtorohanga District Council notes that the resolution to change the electoral system for these elections must be made no later than the 12th of September 2026, and B, resolves pursuant to section 27 of the Local Electoral Act 2001 to retain the first past the post electoral system for elections of the Ōtorohanga District Council and its community boards, and any associated elections such as a by-election for the 2028 and 2031 triennial general elections. And C, notes that pursuant to section 28 of the Local Electoral Act 2001, public notice of the right to demand a poll on the electoral system must be given no later than the 19th of September 2026, and that as council passes a resolution under section 27, a public notice must include notice of that resolution and a statement that a poll is required to countermand it. And D, notes that electors may demand a poll on the electoral system in accordance with sections 29 to 35 of the Local Electoral Act 2001. This is why you didn't put those sections in. Could I have a mover for that? Move Deputy Mayor Christensen, seconded Councillor Jeffries. All in favour? Carried. Shouldn't we just said just same as before for resolution? Anyway, that's all good. Moving on now to the podium, I'd like to call Mr. Paul Strange, please, for item 56 on page 77. Oh. And Mr. Tony Football.
We're here for a road closure for the Silver Fern Rally. We've gone through the processes, sought feedback from the public. Had quite an extensive discussion with the rally organisers to see what we could get out of it for the district, and they came to the party a lot more than they originally did. So we're seeking to approve the rally.
Any comments, questions? Councillor Jeffries?
Yeah, just the one through you, your worship. Paul, clause 2.2 talks about advertising. Is that advertising that council did or that the rally organisers did?
So we have to advertise a rally twice. First of all, to propose that we're considering a rally and asking for objections.
Yep.
And then we also advertise that we've decided to approve the rally, so the rally is approved. I don't think we have to advertise if we don't approve it. But the rally themselves will do their own advertising as well.
Right, I guess that was where the question came from, I guess, is that advertising that you've got there would be done just through the newspaper. Would that be right?
And on our Facebook
On
page,
Facebook page.
social media.
So the advertising that the rally group would do would be sort of almost going around and knocking on doors, would it? Do they have to get the approval of every resident on the
They have to inform every resident.
form? Yeah.
I mean, you give the approval for road closure. We advertise saying, has anyone got any objections? And we receive them. But yeah, they don't get approval from every household. They have to inform every household.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Councillor Carr?
Yeah, no, it was pretty self-explanatory. I thought it was, it's a bit of a no-brainer, but so even if we approve it and say one of our neighbouring councils don't, what happens then? Is the event pulled? Because like sections go through Waitonga and Taupo, what?
In the past, there has been Waitomo declared a section, and they modified the rally stage so it finished a bit earlier, a bit shorter.
Councillor Barker?
There's $5,000 bond put down, isn't it? Is that enough?
I will just check the bond is on this. It says in here somewhere.
Let's say it's 5,000.
Yes. $5,000 bond. Is it enough? We haven't had any issues in the past.
You got it. Ask a question. Oh, yeah, push the button. Right. I'm happy with it. Do I have to read this whole resolution? We'll take the resolution as read, the staff recommendation. I'm happy to move it. We got a second. Councillor Woodward, second. All in favour? Carried. We must quickly do the next one.
Thank you. Now, the next one's very similar, but it's a much smaller rally. It's the Hamilton Car Club, single, well, two roads, but they join together, Hoddle Road and Tahara Valley Road. One day event held annually. They work very well with the local school, who is the marshalling area and things like that. Again, we've advertised for objections and received none.
There's only Coles here. Not too many people up that road anyway. Colesy's happy, we're all good. So anyway, have a mover. I think I better say the resolution. Hang on. Take the resolution as being read, the staff recommendation on page 84. And do we have a mover? Move Councillor Carr, second Councillor Butch. All in favour? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'd like to invite Fraser. Yes, and to be. Thanks, Fraser, for coming. Sorry we got our timing a bit wrong. But
That's entirely okay. That was probably an error at our end, an oversight.
yeah, we were having the meetings originally sort of at 10 o'clock, and then we decided at 9 o'clock because it's just putting things in.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so obviously but it doesn't matter, it's no problem. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. So the floor is yours.
Cool.
Just before I start though, just for because we've got some new councillors in the public gallery, we can ask questions to inform ourselves, but we actually can't make any decisions in a public gallery. So just so you know that, but we will obviously take your comments in your way and have some decisions and come back to you. Okay. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Tēnā koutou e te whānako hui hui mai I tēnei ata. Tēnei te mihi ki ngā kauniera e noho ana nei. No hauraki a hau. Engari e noho ana maiwa kei Ōtorohanga I nai nei. Ko Tanya a tōku hoa wāhine. Ko Kupa rau ko Hunter ki Tamariki. Ko Fraser Quinn tōku ingoa. Nō reira, morena, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Thank you for making an adjustment to the agenda today to fit us. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the community where we live, the civil defence, those in the welfare team and the rural support group for the huge support given in the immediate aftermath of the flood. I sit here today as a constituent of this area, and I think it's in the best interest of our community if I speak to inform you of the current situation we find ourselves in. We're the owners of one of the yellow stick houses from February the 14th. On that night, at about 1:30 AM, my family and I evacuated our home. Our youngest son was 9 months old, our eldest was 4. Within 3 hours, the water had risen from the banks to our steps. It moved fast across open paddocks and left us with almost no time to act. Came up incredibly quickly and stymied our attempt to make it to our pre-prepared evacuation vehicles. As we waded across the waist-high water to the rescuer in the tractor, we began this challenging chapter of our lives. Since then, our property has been assessed with a hazard rating 4 to 5 in the Te Miro flood report. That assessment makes it clear that, in a similar event, our house and property will not be safe for people, vehicles, or animals. I'm sure you're all familiar with this report and need no reminding of how significant and dangerous this event was for people living in the area that we call home. My concern is simple. Through a lack of action, Council has left our family and others in this area with no option but to return to a property that has been assessed as high hazard with no clear mitigation in place to reduce the impact of the exact same scenario playing out in the future. In your code of conduct, number 1 is public interest. You'll serve the best interest of those in your community. I cannot believe that in a community like this, anyone would be comfortable sending a yellow-stickered family back without any real mitigation for the future. I would have thought implementing a plan is in the public interest. At this point, we have not been given any clear evidence of what caused the flood to be so much higher than anything else on record in our area. We haven't been told what has changed since the flood or what practical steps have been taken to reduce the risk in the future. The trees remain, the culverts remain the same, there is no warning system in place, and no water level monitoring system in the Ōtorohanga River as of yet. And so, the future safety of anyone who lives at that address remains uncertain. It's been over 5 months and I'm well aware things take time, but it's my understanding that Environment Waikato has no intention of providing a report to ascertain whether trees, culverts, rain direction or any other factor contributed to this event being so significant. I'm also of the understanding that no one from Ōtorohanga District Council is advocating for us with Environment Waikato. I know Ōtorohanga District Council doesn't manage that waterway, but is it not within your duty of care as part of the recovery process to provide some information or ensure some information is provided about the state or condition of the awa to those that live alongside it? It feels as though the response has been to hand the problem to insurance. And I think it solely sits there. Well, they're doing what they signed up for, no less, no more. And it is not their role to see the big picture and act beyond the immediate contract they have with each homeowner. Big picture stuff. That sounds like something we hope our council has some skills with. But sadly, the plan from the council seems to be suggesting laying new carpets, painting the walls, fixing up the garden bed, and hoping that a 1% AEP event will not happen again in our lifetime. Hope is not a mitigation plan. And a 1% flood event doesn't mean we have 99 more years to forget about it. In our property, we certainly don't have 99 years. As the modelling states, our carpet will need replacing again within 10. It seems strange to commission modelling, learn of the potential severity in that area, and still not have any mitigating factors in place to reduce the risk to those that go to sleep in those houses at night. I empathise with the challenges elected members, Rodney, Tanya, and your team have no doubt worked through with this event. But for us, our work week doesn't stop. These are the cards we've been dealt now, and our challenges are far from over. I do believe you've had the opportunity to act differently, to reduce the danger and to prevent history from repeating itself so quickly. In fact, dare I talk about history? There's probably been some instances in the recent past that could have been warning signs for something larger to come. Unfortunately, your opportunity to act is passing, and the consequences now sit with the families who are forced, through minimal options, to return to those properties. There's an old saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. In this case, the concern is not forgetting the past, but failing to act on what it has already shown us. This was a moment of leadership, a moment to do something genuinely positive, a moment to reduce risk, protect families, and show when Mother Nature exposes risk, the response is not to simply rebuild and move on as though nothing has happened. With 61% in recovery during March 2026, surely that was a clue that simply reinstating should not be the only option. In 2023, we chose to live here. We chose to invest in this community, volunteer at the toy library, join the squash club, support the markets. But that investment is not being matched by the council's responsibility to keep us safe. I'm asking this council to recognise that duty of care does not end when the flood water recedes. If people are being sent back to live in a high-risk place, there must be a real plan to protect them. A family has been returned to a high-hazard property where flood modelling shows evacuation may be required again, yet nothing is in place to meaningfully reduce the impact if it does happen again. Part of this process for us is acceptance. We accept that the council sought the right information at the right time and that it commissioned modelling to understand the hazard we faced. But having the data is not the same as acting on it. Right now, the council has not made it clear how that information will lead to any meaningful protection for people like us. Unlike many other natural events around the country, there was only a small percentage of the town that was severely affected. In our area, a spotlight was put on a small number of houses that are most vulnerable when it floods. At that point, there was an opportunity for leadership to stand up and say, we've been given some information here. Now, what are we going to do with it? How can we be most impactful for these families? How can we reduce the risk for the future? Now, I do hope upon the completion of the speech, somebody speaks up to tell me, dear Fraser, you've got it all wrong, mate. You've missed so much. The emails must be in your spam folder. And you tell me about the mitigation plans you have in place. You talk about the financial support available to possibly elevate properties, make adjustments to the waterway, or any other response that your stormwater expert, your roading manager, your housing development team, all come up with as you investigate the flood event. So I don't leave here feeling it's over. I genuinely believe that people that stand for council are here to do good. But I am asking you to not forget. Don't pretend that new carpets are the solution. Don't pretend that this couldn't happen again on your watch, because the whānau in both the north and the east are certainly aware that history can repeat itself. So as you rewatch this video to double check the things that I've said and possibly the questions I asked of you, I ask you to remember February the 14th and the days that followed. And I know that and you know that we will continue to invest in this community with the hope that this council invests in our safety. And if you can invest and put safety first, maybe when this type of event happens again, we can all celebrate that when you had the chance to do something about it, you did. Nō reira, tēnei anō, kia koutou, kua whakarongo ki tēnei kōrero pono, kia ora rā.
Thank you, Fraser. Thank you for that. Have we got any questions, Fraser? I think you've said it all. Well done. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, really good thoughts. Right. Now on item 58, page 89. Oh, we can be, we have to.
Sorry.
Well, we had. Oh, no, he's on. He's on.
We've got,
A presenter is Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's online.
yep, so, kia ora koutou. So I'm standing in for Mark, today, who's, on a course. And online we have, Sean Hodson, and Sean is our transition manager for, Waikato Water. So Sean reports, directly to Mark and, is leading the, transition. So bringing together, many different strands, and engaging between the staff here who are working on transitioning our water and wastewater over to the company, and the team who are actually now running the company because it's operational. So the purpose of this report today is to update council on the transition of ODC's water and wastewater activities to Waikato Water Limited, and just to tell you how we are going to keep you informed through regular reporting on our transition plans and processes. So, so that you are confident and have assurance that we are going to be ready to transition on the 1st of July 2027. So 3 councils have already transferred over, and that's Waipa, South Waikato and Waitomo. So we have the benefit of them ahead of us, and we are able to learn from their transitions. And Sean and the other transition managers have a quite a close knit group that share information regularly there. So Waikato Water did go live on the 1st of July this year. And yeah, as you can see in the report, at the moment, our current everything is green. We're tracking along fine, and everything is green. Probably the next big decision that you will be making as governance will be around the statement of expectations. I was thinking it starts with S. Sorry, statement of expectations is the next thing that you will will decide, approve, and that will set the company up around what the shareholders expect from them. So I think I'll finish there, and I'll just see if Sean has anything to add from a kind of day-to-day managing and oversight perspective. Kia ora, Sean. Oops, you're on mute.
Kia ora, Shane. Thank you, Tanya, for that introduction. Just in terms of additionals, there's been a bit of an early release of staff from ODC to assist Waikato Waters Limited, which has helped quite a lot for them and also for us. We're getting an early insight into Waikato Water Limited in terms of that aspect. Do you want me to go into the reporting format and anything else, Tanya?
Would that be useful, or do you just want to ask questions? Do you want him to give you an overview of the reporting format? Yep, okay, thank you. Okay,
cool. So obviously right at this moment in time, we're in a little bit of a lull because the Waikato Water Limited are looking after the three councils that have already transitioned, and Matamatepiako are transitioning in October. So we've got, and it's present in the report, a high-level activity plan. So these are the key deliverables, one of which you've just mentioned there, Tanya, about the statement of expectations, etc. So as a graphic, it gives council a very easy and quick mechanism of looking at where we're at, what's coming next in terms of date, and we've color-coded them. So blue, for example, is complete, green is underway. If there's anything at risk, we'll put it in red. And then there's some key decisions in that graphic as well. The graphic is supported by the report, similar to what you've got already. But at present, it's a very high level program of work, an indication. We're working with Waikato Water to get more detail around the sub-activities. So for example, land transfer, post-completion services agreements and all that sort of thing. And that's going to be based on learnings that Waikato Water have had with three transitioning councils and also Matamatepiako as it comes in. So whilst you've got a very high level report at this moment in time, the future report will have a lot more detail behind it should you need it. The way that we present that detail is up to you as a council. The graphic is one way of doing it, and we can get sub-components of that graphic, so we can just drill in and just say, okay, this is post-completion services agreement, this is what it's about, these are the next steps and where we're up to as a graphic. Equally, it could just be a Word report, or we can use something like, well, not really MS Project, but an Excel spreadsheet and a Gantt chart, those sorts of aspects. Personally, I think the way that we're doing it at the moment makes it a lot easier for council to understand where we're at a very high level, and then they can read the text in the report behind it. So I'm open for any comments or feedback on that.
And we're looking at monthly reporting, aren't we, Sean? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess once we start the reporting, I mean, you can see the graphic there and ask any questions. Once we start that monthly reporting, it might become clearer what's working and what isn't, what you need more of, what you need less of. So yes, as Sean said, we do have two staff who have moved early. Well, one moved early, the other took an opportunity, and we have got them seconded back to us. So they're working partly for Waikato Water and partly for us, with a foot in each camp at the moment.
Oh yeah, just had a question, like this is pretty good around the operational performance, just around the financial stuff. How often are we going to get reporting back on that to make sure that when we go in, they're not further in the red than what they're supposed to be?
So you mean reporting from the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be through the shareholders representation group. So as staff, we won't be reporting to you on that through this reporting mechanism. So that is where it's really important that we pay attention to the draft statement of expectations and make sure that it actually gives us the information and the reporting that we need from the company. Okay, and we can bring that to you through a different way.
Just while we're transitioning, do we get tied into new laws, but because the Commerce Commission is going to keep it on Waikato waters and so
So
the
Mata
water
Arawai?
regulator, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
are we still just the old rules while we transition through?
No, so we're already paying levies to both of those organisations, and I've just received this week the Taumata Arawai compliance report for 2025-26. So yeah, we are definitely under their wings at the moment. And I guess in terms of water charging, they will be paying far more attention to that as the companies set up or councils establish their business units in-house. So the separation of stormwater in our accounts and that sort of thing is part of that.
Okay. Councillor Jeffries. Oh, thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself, but will that statement of expectations include how the company intends to set its fees and charges, if you like, and how they will recover those? Is that part of that?
It won't have that level of detail. It will have an expectation, should the councils all agree that that is what they want to do, an expectation around maybe timing for that, how you want to be involved, and them to come back and present to you or give you that information. So it's not going to have the detailed formulas. That the statement of expectations is sitting at somewhere between 3 and 5 pages, so it's quite high level. I mean, it's got things in there like the company is expected to abide by all legislation relevant to it, rather than you will follow health and safety procedures for your staff. You will, like it's more, we expect you to be compliant. I mean, it's a professional board and they have, there's liability if they get things wrong. So, yeah.
You think so? I guess where I was coming from there, I guess, is that at the moment we charge a water rate. So looking ahead, that's probably an unfair question, but is the intention of the company to try and set a uniform basis on which it recovers its costs through a rate, or they're going to do it on a metered basis, or so is that something that comes up in the?
Yes, no, so it won't be in this reporting.
Yep.
My understanding is that the company can't set a rate because they're not a council.
Okay.
So they have got to find another way to do that charging.
Right.
And I guess they have options there around volumetric or I don't know, day charges or whatever it might be, or per meter or that sort of thing. And yeah, so in terms of harmonisation around charging, the intent from the shareholders was that we start off sort of ring fencing the charging.
Yep.
Because at the moment, those 3 councils that have transitioned over are still doing the billing.
Okay.
Waikato Water is not doing the billing and probably won't for another year.
Right.
Because they need to get it absolutely right. I mean, Rodney and I were in the meeting last week where the chair of the board talked about that, and it's not something you want to get wrong and annoy people with.
Yep, sure.
Because who's going to get the phone calls? You. So, they need to take that time to get it right.
Yep.
The other thing that councils are still taking control of is the customer interface. So billing and customer interface is still being done by those 3 councils, and Waikato Water are paying them for that service.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite complex, but that's kind of what's happening at the moment.
Agency arrangement.
Yeah.
So, and just one last question. So in terms of at what stage then will council have a say, if you like, in terms of who represents us on the board? Or do we not get that say?
So the shareholder, the board is a director appointment process.
Right.
So they will go out and advertise, the board will go out and advertise for 2 more directors to join the 3 that are already existing. They won't represent Ōtorohanga District Council. What was envisaged was, and I can't remember the name of and Mark's not here to help me out, and Sean might know, there was another layer that had representation from maybe that's the shareholders representation forum though. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Sorry, what am I saying? Yes, it is.
So
That's
Tanya,
the
does
shareholders
the,
representative forum that has that interface with the board, and there's your rep. Or their delegate.
there's another group below that as well, Tanya, which is a joint working group, which is probably tier 2 level.
Yeah. So Mark's level also, they're doing the kind of more operational interface with Waikato Water. So sorry, it is a shareholders representative forum.
Good. No, that's fine. Thank you.
Councillor Carr.
Yeah, I mean, this month's report's fine and the format itself is ideal, but like just on the feedback we've had thus far from some concerned ratepayers, locals, it's around the financial stuff. So it's sort of piggybacks on the back of what Michael asked. How will we know how we're tracking financially? You know, are we on budget? If there's any blowouts, what's caused the blowouts? Why? That sort of stuff. That's what they care about. It's all about how much it's going to cost them.
Well, tell them to wait for 10 years because that was in the report that got voted through. Obviously, there'll be no real change for 10 years. It might even go up. That was in the reports. So so tell them that they expect it possibly could go up a little bit, but in 10 years' time, they'll be able to go. This was awesome.
They also talked about harmonisation
That didn't
at some
sound.
stage.
It didn't sound 100%
Shane?
convincing to me, Ronnie.
No,
Oh,
Shane,
I'm sorry, but that's what the report demonstrated when the last council voted it through.
they also
10 years'
talked
time.
about in a few years, like also at some stage, harmonisation across all of the Waikato Water done well. So
It's the long picture.
For Ōtorohanga District Council, we could have quite comfortably gone it alone for the first 10 years. It was beyond that was looking a little bit kind of, uncertain, more uncertain around. And it's not only, it's not only do we have the financial capacity and that to do the work that's required, we've got big entities up the road paying people another 50% what we pay them here that are really attractive for people looking at career moves, and we start losing staff. And also contractors look for the big bits of work. So we've got $1 million pipe that we need to put in. They've got $40 million worth of work up the road. We end up with no one tendering for our work. So there was quite a lot of factors beyond the strictly, financial. Yeah.
But tell them to wait for 10 years. Hopefully they.
Yeah, but that in itself worries me. Like, if we've got a project that's important to us, but it's not big enough in dollar sense, when's it going to be done? And that's always been my concern, right? Is we're just going to be like almost a drop in the pond.
But there's a regulator on it now, so.
Yeah, so I mean, the ex-mayor of Papakura told the story about when they joined Watercare and they were the smallest council and they thought the same thing. Well, their little projects were chicken feed and got the funding first to get them off the books. Like, let's just sort that wastewater treatment plant out because it's $500,000 and get it ticked off. They actually benefited from the scale because theirs was so minor. It was almost like, oh, these are easy wins. Let's just, low hanging fruit. Let's just get these done. So I guess, different mindset. And he presented to the councils in one of the zone meetings on that particular thing. So,
Councillor Barker.
Yeah, my concern is like when you're saying my time is billing out, like they don't quite know how they're billing it. Shouldn't that have been sorted out well before this was started?
are you been getting the billing system up
Well,
and running?
how they're going to bill, whether it's on a meterage rate, daily rate, should have all been done before it actually all got kicked off the court?
Yeah, so they know how they're billing at the moment, and I'm not privy to their conversations around how they're going to in the future. Maybe Sean can enlighten us, but yes, I think it's a big project getting a new billing system up and running, but they are, yeah, they know how they're billing at the moment.
Right, yeah, it just,
Yeah.
it just seems a bit airy-fairy.
Yeah, we're all doing it differently and we all use different systems.
Yeah.
So the migration over is really important.
Oh,
Mm.
I could probably add to that too, like at this stage, Hamilton City's not even committed. You know, so, there's a massive project there to put that in place. So it's not just water, it's wastewater, as well. So, all of those, legacy councils, generally billing wastewater on a fixed charge, so, there's different options of billing wastewater, but it's likely the discussions that we've had with the CFO forum that they'll start off with a fixed charge, but there's options around billing wastewater, water in, water out. So, I don't think any of that's been confirmed at this stage.
Councillor Butcher.
Through you, Mayor Dell, just I suppose remembering too that we've 2 years now on approximately of a lot of information and public consultation that the public had the ability to come to. So, just wanted to say that.
He's done. Taylor will be the mayor, she'll be going. No one will be asking questions about water because it'll be perfect. Sorry if I sound cynical. So we have a staff recommendation somewhere. Is that? Sorry.
We've received.
We're just receiving that, yeah.
So receive the.
Receive this report because it's not there. To move Councillor Jeffries. Second, Councillor Woodward. All in favour? Carried.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for
Thanks, Sean.
joining us.
Thank you, team. Have a good day.
Yep.
Bye. Bye.
Next.
We are 30 minutes ahead of time, and I've been told that Liz is walking in the door right now with Nikki.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was told, but hey, never mind. We're waiting.
Shall we just have a 5-minute break? Do a couple of star jumps and then we'll Are we ready or
Not yet.
are we ready?
Are you waiting for us? No.
Oh. We'll wait till it goes on here and then. Right, we're on here. Oh, everyone went quiet. Yeah, power. Welcome to our team at Ben.
Kia ora, koro mātua, me ngā kai konihira tēnā koutou katoa. I have various colleagues with me today who hold the relationships with our service providers, as noted in the report. I have Nikki Dealey, Cheryl Reynolds, and I have Jared LaFleming, who is meant to be Jane Shaw, who is with sick little ones at home today. So when we get to the question part of this presentation or this item, I may be deferring left or right. So today's report brings together the annual accountability reports from a number of our organisations that council funds through the long-term plan and the annual plan. These partnerships are an important part of how we deliver on our community outcomes. So people, place and partnership. It's with our providers supporting everything from youth development and employment through to environmental education, community wellbeing, heritage, creative industries and economic development. As members will recall, this year's reporting and presentations have been spread across a number of meetings and workshops to enable us to get them in front of you in a timely manner that you can consider any ongoing funding in the coming LTP. You've already heard presentations from James Towers on Mayor's Task Force for Jobs, Enviro Schools, Ōtorohanga Support House, Sport Waikato, and today we will hear from Liz Cowan, Director of the Ōtorohanga Museum. Presentations from Thrive, Waikato Screen, Maru Energy Trust will happen in the coming workshops, and Elevate's report and presentation is scheduled for August council meeting. Regarding a question that was raised in the Enviro Schools presentation as to where other funding for them comes from, whether that's not regional or local, we haven't been able to get to that answer yet, but as soon as it does, we will fire that back out to you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to apologise for not pre-circulating the Enviro School and Sport Waikato report when they presented a couple of weeks ago. That was a complete oversight on my part. If you have further questions from their reports in this agenda and we can't answer them, we'll go back and find those answers and come back to you with them. Regarding funding for museums, I think it's worth noting, particularly for our new people around the council table, that Kāwhia Museum does receive council funding, and it's a district-wide rates funding. That's provided to the Kāwhia Museum through our agreement with Elevate. So council funds Elevate, Elevate funds the Kāwhia Museum, and that supports their info centre as well as the museum because they're co-located and co-staffed. So before handing over to Liz, the team and I are happy to take any questions you might have of the report or the attached accountability reports.
Thank you. Councillor Wood.
I could be the right time, wrong time, I don't know. The Maru Energy Trust stuff. Just had a question around how that funding's allocated out. Like, is it just because we don't take up a significant amount of that area, the Ōtorohanga sort of district part? Is the funding proportional, or they just use all of our money first and then start using their own money, sort of thing? How does that, like, is it funded similar to sort of the mayor's task, the mayoral relief fund, where it's a dollar for dollar from everybody put in at the same time, or is it all of our money used first and then they go to the next provider? Do you know how that funding allocation goes?
Kia ora koutou. Thanks for the question. I don't know the direct answer to that specific question, but the Lines Company is only partially across our district, and so they allocate proportionally within the boundaries of the Lines Company area. Yeah. But I can get the specific answer to that question.
It's more because we are not a major part of that area. I just don't. in theory, if our people engage early and we warm all our houses up, then we're then warming up Te Kuiri's homes and stuff like that. So yes, or is it only ring fenced? Okay, yeah.
It's ring fenced, and I was told by Brian Hanna that they are just entering into negotiations with Waipa Networks to provide similar to the Kawhia and the rest of the district.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
Councillor Butcher.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Mine was more around the virus school and was more a statement after their last presentation. I can sort of see where their money does come from in funding. It looks like it's Toimata Foundation is one of the biggest one in Waikato Regional Council, so that's all good. And I like their program. It was more probably around, we talked about getting involved with the local college, Ōtorohanga College, and they hadn't sort of had any involvement there for maybe just a little bit over 5 years. So it was more of a point probably getting back into there because that's quite important to hit the college students. Really, that's just a comment, yeah, because you know they're also very hungry for environment and things like that. So it was about getting re-engaging into the college. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. No more questions? Oh, sorry.
Did I forget you? Councillor Chris.
Thanks, Your Worship. Yes, I'm just looking at 4.8, clause 4.8, where it talks about how homeowners qualify. And if I'm aware that there are a number of people who live in rental accommodation, so that the first couple of bullet points actually exclude them, as I understand it. So they're relying on being referred by the Healthy Homes Initiative. So how is that action? Is there somebody who's acting on behalf of Maru or Healthy Homes or something that goes around and identifies what's a healthy home and what isn't? Is that how does that work?
Kia ora, Councillor Jeffries. The Maru Energy lead spent a week in the past year at Oshawa, where she promoted the work of Maru Energy, and they have appointed a series of providers who assess the homes and determine the healthy nature of the home and the need for heat pumps and insulation, and make recommendations. You're welcome.
Councillor Butler.
Thank you. Mine's a generic maybe statement, maybe a little bit of a question about all the reports. From what I've sort of seen, other than the Mayor's Task Force for Jobs report, that the providers seem to set their own success measures, or you know, they've got goals that they set within their own projects to deliver on. At what point does council say or look into it and just, you know, like, why aren't we involved in those measures of success, and at what point can we get involved in that?
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor. That's a great question. I guess it's very dependent on which of these service providers that we're talking to. So, for example, Maru Energy Trust, they came to us with a proposal which we accepted through, I think it was an annual plan or a long-term plan previous. And so that's what it's based on. And it's not so much a target, it's this much money. And they just try and get as much out of that dollar as they can, because you could imagine that some homes need more investment than other homes, a little bit like MTFJ, you know, you invest more when it's needed. In other areas, let's say, for example, the Kawhia Museum, when that came to council through the annual plan, it was agreed to fund them to support their staff and opening hours, and so that was discussed as part of that with elected members. If we think about Elevate, and I appreciate you don't have that one in front of you now, that's a little bit of a different situation. So they do set a lot of what they want to deliver, and we ask for some things as well. So it does vary across the different service providers. If there's one in particular you want me to talk to, I can do that. If, as a elected member group, through the long-term plan and considering who we might fund in the next LTP, if there are some more specific outcomes or key measures, that's definitely something that we can talk to in those workshops and incorporate into any further agreements going forward.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have noticed that there might be some crossing of services going on as well. So, and again, in LTP conversations, those nitty gritty things can come out. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Hey, I just got a couple of questions on the sports Waikato report. On page 151, it says that the park continues to evolve through collaboration and mentions the Pony Club. And it sort of implies that the Pony Club is interested in the Rural Park Equestrian Centre, and they actually have no interest in moving there whatsoever. So I actually think that report needs to be clarify that, because the Pony Club's not happy that they're getting included in conversations that they're interested in moving there. And then on the next page, 152, I was just wondering, out of the workshop that they ran with staff on play, active recreation, what sort of things came out of that workshop that, like, what can we see delivered or expected to be delivered in the next 12 months? Is that like the hopscotch thing that we're looking at, or is there other things with our parks and reserves? Because it mentions our parks and reserves in there too. So I'm just wondering, yeah.
Thanks, Councillor. Can I just confirm which page you're looking at for the workshop?
152. I think it's 152. I'll double check.
The bottom boxes contribute to council conversations about.
Yeah, about staff, held with staff is there, yeah, about planning for parks and reserves. I'm just wondering what came out of that workshop.
I guess when they say council staff, are they meaning Ōtorohanga District Council staff, or are they meaning general council staff and maybe we attended and maybe we didn't? Does anyone know? I just wondered.
Yeah, no, good, yeah. And if it is, then if it is generic, it needs to actually say that, because it's implying that they're working with our staff to enhance our parks and reserves.
Thank you for that question, Councillor. What we'll do is we'll actually go back to Robbie and we'll find that information and confirm it. We have had conversations, many conversations about, as you know, because she's based in our offices, regarding those play activities. So what we'll do is we'll just confirm that.
So even from those conversations, is there anything in the pipeline for the next 12 months? Because I mean,
yes, so
say hooey, no dooey, but you know,
as we have had some things that have fallen out of that, as you can imagine. A lot of these kind of projects are quite organic, and they start somewhere and then they grow and they build and then they become cross-departmental and all that kind of thing. So in terms of the play workshops, they do have Play on the Way, which is a program and an approach that they facilitate in different councils. And one of those is the hopscotch in the pavements, which has come to me, and we presented it to the community board, which has had approval for development. So we've gone to one of our via the roading team to develop that project further. So it is in the pipeline. We have identified some pavements and spaces
And that's just come through, so we'll develop that further and get back to you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Butcher.
Just in regards to Thrive, and they, page 122, they state that unfortunately their Empower program is ceased at the moment because their facilitator there and that program is now working full-time at the college. So where are we with that? Are they looking to establish it again, or are they confident that the person that's gone to the college is doing that sort of program there, and so they don't need that program anymore? Or
Thank you, Councillor Butcher. I believe that was their staff member Jenny, and she has gone to work full-time at the college. They're in the middle of figuring that out. There's a lot of kind of moving parts in the community at the moment regarding that area of work. The service that we are, the funding that council has targeted towards this provider, it is not actually tied to any particular job role or staff role. So even though that aspect of their work has paused for the moment and may morph into something else, we are actually providing funding for their services as a whole. So they're still providing their rock climbing and after school services. They're still going out to the schools and providing the wellbeing and support services for those primary schools that feed into our local schools. So I'm sure they'll keep us posted, and I do work quite closely with Peter and the team there regarding their organisational development. So it's a bit of a watch this space. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffries. Thanks, Your Worship. It's just a point of clarification, if I could. For the Ōtorohanga Museum, clause 4.35 on page 99, it talks about ODC committing $58,000 a year towards staff wages and so on. Can you just clarify for me, when the museum first approached us, we granted an amount of, was it 30?
It was $29,010. I think it was very random, which was hard because it arrived at council halfway through the financial year.
That's right.
So it's for 6 months.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So so was that for a given period of time, or is this 58,000 now locked in going forward? No, it's not.
No, because it wasn't part of the the current LTP that we were in.
Yeah.
If you recall, and to support Nikki's comment, the lotteries funding, which covered wages, wasn't successful in December of whatever year that was. And so they came to council to ask if we would support, which is why it was the half of the year's funding. And then we've included that in every annual plan. So part of council's decision making going into the next annual plan is which service providers would you like to fund, and this will be one of those options. Oh, what did I say? Sorry, I meant long-term plan.
Long-term plan. So are you talking, sorry, just to clarify, Nadia, so you're saying that we're looking potentially going forward at 29 or 58?
So the full year funding for this year is the 58.
Yeah.
Who you fund and what you fund them will be a decision for council through long-term plan conversations.
Yep.
You might want to not fund all the current ones. You might want to fund more. You might want to fund them the same amount. You might want to fund them less or more.
Yep.
So those are, and then you also might want to put in some clearer measures as to what they're delivering. So those are all the sorts of questions that we'll be covering off.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Councillor Barker.
Yeah, on the Maru accountability report on page 104, if you go to the 1st of July 2025 to 30th on the installs, for example, on the installation works out at 1,040, and if you go down to total installs, installation works out at 691. Why is there a difference in that?
Sorry, can you just go through that slowly for me? So I'm on page 104.
Yeah, 104. If you go through the top graph there of
Yeah.
1st of July. If you work on the installation, 24 installations at 27,000, it comes out of 1,040 per installation. And if
Yeah.
you go to the bottom report, the 83 installations at 57, it comes out at 691. Why is there a difference?
So the bottom, I'm going to take a stab at this, but it might be something to follow up with them when they come to us. The bottom one is from its inception
Right,
through to now,
right.
versus that top one is just for this calendar year.
So they've increased that much.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an increase in installation costs or
Yeah,
product
yeah.
costs, but great observation. Worth noting and asking when Renee comes and talks to.
Yeah, so like that's almost double.
Yeah.
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 Oh, could be it, I guess. Yeah, it could be, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jolly good. No more questions? Well done. Have we got a resolution? No, we haven't. Oh, Liz, yes, Liz and Maggie, I'm assuming.
Running on one shot today, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
It's referred to in the report, one of the most significant pieces of research we've done is identifying some extraordinary target. This is probably 400 years old. This is 2 weeks old. North Africa. 200 years old. All found. Pass around. Touch them and drop them. Because we had William Poke, ethnographer, ex-Te Papa and Auckland Museum, who looked at the style, the carving methods, etc., aided by Dr. Oliver McLeod, who's a leading geologist and volcanologist who examined the stone types. And the fascinating thing is that those three are actually made of pakohi, aka argillite, which comes from D'Urville Island, which shows how widely Maori traded precious stones. And those are extremely precious. But I've actually mapped all the locations where they were found, and it's fascinating. As well as the report I've given you, I'll just add a few little updates. Currently, our Facebook followers are 3,167. And despite all my reservations about social media, it has been an amazing way of reaching our community. And we saw this when we had the flood, where one panic-stricken Facebook post brought the community out in force. Amazing. I've been following up with the LEOTC, the Learning Experience Outside the Classroom program, which is held by Waitomo Discovery Centre. Hopefully we'll be included. If we are, it comes with $5.50 per child that visits, because that is a government contract that they hold. So that could be a little bit of extra income. We have just been granted the COGS funding, Community Organisation Grant Scheme. That's pretty much the only thing left from central government. That's just for operational things, basics, you know, power, electricity, office supplies. I asked Rebecca to work out, we've held at least 25 sessions using the museum facilities, you know, for community workshops, especially children, adults workshops, because I'm really keen to see our buildings being used rather than going off and building something else. Why don't we use and treasure what we've got? So that's working beautifully. I have also been liaising with some other museums because I've been finding that we relevant to our district. For example, Taupo, I found a 1905 print of Te Huihu II, and I took that to Taupo
Museum, who are very grateful. I found a series of glass print negatives, which are the Waikino Goldfield batteries, and Waihi Museum are thrilled to get with helping us with templates and designs for our new displays for Te Wanui o Tāne. Yeah, so just trying to, and of course Te Papa, well, incredible. They have fully funded a really intensive report, which is pending on the state of the waka. Is amazing. I've also just did a quick tot up of the funds that we have raised independently of what you've given us in the last 2.5 years. And it actually comes out to $182,702.15, all of which is being Rewa School. The last thing I'd mention is thrilled to see the historic guns back, because I've actually had inquiries from Australia about them. I do have the correct historic information about them, if you'd like to add that, because people are asking what they are and everything, and very happy to, in fact, be delighted to hand that over to the relevant people to perhaps put beside the guns, which will really explain their history and what they actually are. So, okay, and now there's a slideshow, I believe. So I'm going to nod at Kaya. I'd like to start by just paying a tribute to Nan Owen, who passed away last May. There's Nan in jacket and hat, which indicates how cold it was. We now have a heat pump in the courtroom, so that is amazing. And of course, she was a collector extraordinaire. And we did a lot of sorting out, but thank heavens she was, because that's why things like this and other precious things are in that museum. Yeah, that's sorry, next one, Kaya, sorry. Yeah, so Nan every Sunday would open the museum from 2 to 4 for years and years, and she was a leading force there for about 50 years. Thank you, Nan. So next one. When she was there, it looked like that. There was a lot of stuff, and when we received an extraordinary bequest of $40,000 from Margaret Mackenzie, who died in England, but whose father was county engineer here for years and years. First thing the committee said was, I think we should paint the courthouse and the church. And I said, okay, can I have a skip, please? Because we had to take literally every single thing out, and Maggie remembers it well. By the way, Maggie is our president and volunteer extraordinaire. We took everything out, and then we really went through everything, and we discarded things that were dangerous or broken, etc., etc. Next one. That is the domestic room, which is one of the rooms that we, again, reorganized. It's very popular with children, adults, etc., etc. Next one. Again, that is the shop area, collection of toys and artifacts. Yeah, next one. Sewing machines of all kinds. Actually, a lot of them are extremely valuable now. Again, we did a comprehensive, examination of things, and things that were broken or beyond repair. We disposed of with our local metal merchant, who gave us some koha, which helped. Next one. This is our Anzac room. We inherited a large collection of Anzac memorabilia from the RSA, and the challenge was to fit it into one small room. And thanks to my extraordinary co-worker, Rebecca Napo, our creative coordinator. She's absolutely amazing with publishing, and of course she's an artist herself, and she's also a builder of furniture, and yeah, we have an amazing partnership. It's fantastic. Next one, please. That is our lockup, the oldest existing building in Ōtorohanga. Sound as anything. That's Charlie, our prisoner. And it's one of the places we're trying to make the museum as child friendly as possible. So they love this. They can lock each other in. We've got wanted posters, and they can also find the knitted mice and hide them again. But just again, one of the lovely things about the museum is that entry is free, and actually it's not a bad business model, because I've talked to other museums who charge, and they find that when they actually stop charging, they probably get as much or more in koha. So we're very grateful for any koha, but also it means that it's available to people who can't otherwise afford it. This is the church, which is looking very bare in that photo. Again, we've just had that carpeted, thanks to a very generous donation from an ex-resident who wishes to remain anonymous. But that was the result of a Facebook post where she saw some of her family's treasures being cared for, and she just wanted us to be able to continue looking after those treasures. So that is the first item we bought. Oh no, we also bought a new vacuum cleaner, which we really needed, and we're carefully looking after that little nest egg. So next one, please. Again, one of our displays, the kuia with the traditional moko. When I did a bit of research, I discovered these wonderful portraits of Ngāti Maniapoto kuia. With the agreement of Tom Roa, our kaumātua, we're making that Te Wanui o Tāne area a dedicated Maniapoto space. You know, that's the story of this area. I've had offers of artifacts from the East Cape or East Coast and said, look, you go to your people. And all of these items, these toki that I've brought in, have been found here. Yeah. Next one, please. This is a display that I thought was worth making. I went to the National Museum and had to buy high-res copies of some, but actually I discovered that these are probably the very first photos ever taken in Ōtorohanga. They were taken in 1885 by Alfred Burton, a professional photographer who hightailed it up here from Dunedin, and he wanted to photograph the Maori at home once the King Country was opened in 1885. And he took these, some of the photos are quite famous and are seen all over the place, but I started to look through his diary and realized he'd done a sequence, and he actually took individual portraits of Rewi Maniapoto, Tainui, the next one is Te Haere, Wetari. Anyway, you can come to the museum and read about it, but those were taken at Haere pretty much where the dental surgery is. And that's actually a really important historic site where the first native court, which divided the land in the Te Rohi Pōtai, was held in 1886. So we've got a very historic site there, and there is a sacred rock there that has got a pixie on it, which is a bit unfortunate. Never mind. Next one. Again, that is one of our significant answers. And the next one, Karen. Those are just 109 and 111 of the other two that I've shown you there, but this is just about 120, which we've now had identified and which we will display. Some of them were in boxes in the tool shed, and what Rebecca and I are going to do is we're going to make sure that we don't have any sitting in storage. we're creating a set of drawers which you can also slide out, covered with acrylic, so that nothing is hidden. You can take them out and I'll provide the necessary labels, plus an explanatory book of the whole research beside it. Next one, please. Number 117 there is really amazing. Again, it was identified by Wurumu as a toki po tangata, which was actually a ceremonial adze greenstone, which would have belonged to a paramount chief. Found corner of Mangatutu and Maihihi roads. So that's fascinating. 118 is a greenstone adze found at the end of Peacock Road. 119 is a fairly modern piece which was gifted to Darcy Lupton's mother by Maruhia Kupe, who was one of the kuia out at Onakiwi. Next one, Carla. That is really significant. It is a kete with kiwi feathers. It actually belonged to Sir William Fox, who died in 1893. And how it got here, I went down a few rabbit holes, but he gave his entire estate to his goddaughter, and his goddaughter's granddaughter was one Barbara McPhee, who gave that to the museum. So that is 100 and whatever, 93. Well, he died in 1893. It was given to him. And I saw a similar one selling online for $14,000. So that will have a very special plinth in our alarm building. Next one. That's an example of a beautiful pew that was donated by the late Ray Jones. Again, we've been really fortunate. Rangi Te Kanawa, who is she's a world leading expert in conservation of textiles, and in particular Maori textiles. And I've been able to give her one pew which is quite damaged, and she will restore it. So we've got a small collection of those, and we're going to make sure that they are in specially constructed drawers, because these things are fragile. But Rangi is the one to advise us. So we're incredibly fortunate. Next one, please. We had the Harrodsville exhibition. Rebecca produced a little commemorative book, and we had some wonderful reminiscences and memories, and asked people to sign the book. What was especially nice about the 7 Sharp program was that Barry Marks was able to be interviewed and actually gave the background and the real facts of the whole story. So, yeah, next one, please. Same thing. Next one, Carla. And then we had the flood, Friday, February the 13th. Yeah. Next one. That's how it looked. Yeah. And that was a photo sent to me by Murray Lowenthal, who was getting a bit alarmed and said, I think it's going to flood, Liz. We were incredibly fortunate. Of all the buildings to flood, dare I say it, Te Wanui o Tāne probably was the best, because it's got a concrete floor. You can see the church was just above the flood line, and also our other buildings, because that would have been, water into those buildings. The courthouse is basically all made of kauri. The church, 1909, the courthouse, 1913. I shudder to think how we would have dealt with that, but this is manageable. Next one, please, Carl. And there are our amazing community who came out, waded, including Maggie, who was helping supervise, waded through the flood waters and carried pretty much every last taonga and put them in the church next door. So we actually we really didn't lose anything except some display cases, which Hornicky, I think, and put together from recycled materials. And now we're able to start afresh. So yes, so we had this extraordinary community response at very short notice. And next one, please. And there, I think, is Maggie with her back to us in the photo. Yes, with the church, you know, ending up as the place where we had to store things while we got things fixed in Te Wanui o Tāne. Next one, please. Floodwaters the depression at the base of the Waka, the water did reach the root line, but fortunately in that depression there is a drain, and by 9 o'clock the next morning the water had drained away. The carpet was absolutely sodden, so I asked that that be stripped out straight away. And then we had, you know, Jared, I liaised with Jared, and it was, thank you so much. And we had these chaps from Chemdry Waikato come in. They did an extraordinary job, took out that massive carpet, and then spent about 10 days just putting in the dryers. We had to be careful because too fast drying and you get splitting of the waka, too slow. So they were great. Here was Nick Rattray taking off the wall panelling because, of course, the water had come up and infiltrated the insulation, etc. So we've effectively, thanks to council and the insurance, we've removed the carpet totally. The floor's been ground and sealed with a very high, you know, it's very, very strong sealant, which I think will be better in the long run. And we have, if you go to the next one, we have new paneling and repainting. So at the moment, we're sort of at this stage, although at the moment, we've got a lot of furniture that is just about ready to go. Rebecca's been having to deal with slow drying in this climate with polyurethane, but thanks to $12,000 granted by the Charitable Trust and Lions Club, we are able to manufacture purpose-made display cases. We're putting everything on casters so we can move them around, and we'll be able to display things to, well, the best possible standards. Next one, please. This is the post that gave us a substantial donation. Again, this lady saw that we were caring for her family's treasures. Also, it'll be featured in our upcoming wedding exhibition. It's from 1881. And again, one of the treasures you find. So we've now put it into acid-free paper, into an acid-free box called a coffin box, and it's hopefully will last for another 100 years or so. But it's, it's amazing what actually has survived and what we have found. Another thing we found, an incredibly fragile handwritten map of the Ōtorohanga Cemetery from 1903 to 1961. Thanks to another grant from Charitable Trust, I had it all digitized in high res, and then I went through and tried to find all of the names by cross-checking with council's existing records. So we now have a record of the very first burials up at the Ōtorohanga Cemetery up to 1961. And I know Maggie will be able to tell you she gets a lot of inquiries, especially on a Saturday, from visitors. People are very, very interested in their forebears, Maori and Pākehā. Next one, please. So we've, again, Rebecca is wonderful with her ability on Canva and the desktop publishing. And we've just also produced a little explanatory booklet of some of the interesting obituaries and people who are buried there. The man at the top right was George Thomas Wilkinson, native land court judge. His wife, Hariata, who was a highborn Maori lady. And the man at the other top was William Vickery. So it's actually fascinating going up there and seeing some of the gravestones and some of the incredible stories, influenza flu victims from 1980. There's an amazing lot of history in this roadhead. I think that might be the last one. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you for that, Liz.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No, just thank you for what you do and like your knowledge and your research that you do into everything, like your whole committee. It's amazing. Thank you.
I just have to thank the council. We honestly couldn't do it without you, Te Wanui o Tāne. Your funding is giving us 35 hours a week, which Rebecca and I divide between us. Maggie, of course, is an unpaid volunteer and president of the society. She's invaluable as a guide. She's often joined by Heather Taylor from the museum. And what people absolutely love, and people like Maggie do so beautifully, is actually show people around. And so we're getting, the community support is incredible. And we saw it totally when with the flooding. And I guess the biggest lesson I've learned, or the thing that I've realised, is again the power of communication. You ask for help and you thank people, and doesn't matter what technology there's out there, and there's a hell of a lot of it. The personal touch is still the one that's important. People, I mean, I can text or ring people like Professor Tom, who's our kaumātua, who's so generous with his time. And one of the best articles I ever read was, what are the 5 most powerful words in business? And it was, please give me your advice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Liz. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks, Maggie, for everything you do.
Don't forget your tongue.
Oh yeah, don't forget your rocks.
Yeah.
Resolution somewhere.
Whole lot of,
Oh yeah, we go right back to the. This is going to take forever.
And what page is it? It's on page
It doesn't matter.
94.
Doesn't matter. I've got to scroll because there's no page thing.
Well, I haven't got this little thing on the side that takes you to the.
Yeah.
I'll move you, just move the mouse thing on the side, the little line, black line up.
Yeah.
Real fast. Yeah, what's your number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know why. So we have a little resolution here somewhere. What's it called? I don't know. Right. So staff recommendation is that the Ōtorohanga District Council receive the report, service providers 12 months reports for the 2025 to 2026, and accompanying reports from A, Modern Energy Trust, B, Waikato Screen, C, Enviro Schools, D, Thrive Youth Trust, E, Ōtorohanga Support House Whare Awhenua, F, Ōtorohanga Historical Society, and G, Sport Waikato. Do we have a mover? Move Councillor Barclay, second Councillor Barker. All in favour? Carried. We are moving on to councillor updates. Councillor Carr looks like he's ready. Microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. Mayoral Relief Fund. The last workshop, obviously heads up last week, which was just interesting. Had some follow-up correspondence around the proposed speed limit change on Waikato Road, and had some good feedback from Mark and Paul around that. It's actually quite a difficult process, but Mark's putting a report together. Obviously got some flack around the playground from lots of concern ratepayers, but that's been dealt with as well. And also I wanted an update on the logo, and Rodney was very forthcoming with that. On the logo. Because people were asking me about that too, but Rodney was very forthcoming, which was great. Thank you. It's me.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffries. Thanks, Worship. Pardon me. Yeah, 9th of July, we had the LGNZ Head Start. It was a Zoom meeting. And then 14th of July, workshops here. Attended the Careers Expo in Carfia on the 17th of July. Yep. And I think, was that the weekend that you were at with you and Michelle? Anyway, just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you, Rodney, for putting in your appearances at Carfia. Yeah, they've been very noticeable. We could hear Zeb as you left town, about a kilometre away. The 18th of July, I went to the annual general meeting for the Runanga Hikairo, and that was a long meeting, about 6 hours. But I think the only things that came out of that for us were talking about the bracing of the historic Pūtakawa down at Kawiwa there, and they have located a carver who is going to do some appropriate carving on those props that are holding the big limb up. So that's more or less underway. And I questioned them as to why they were slow in responding to information that we were needing for the fitness trail, and it threw them into, should we say, a bit of confusion, because a lot of them didn't even know what we were talking about. So Pippi Barton has agreed to follow that up and come back to Jared, but I understand that there's only one location on that fitness trail track that's causing an issue for them, and it's easily resolved. So I don't know what the problems, but we'll follow that one up. 21st of July, we had the Head Start joint meeting with Matomo. And last weekend, I went to the annual general meeting of the Carfin Museum, and I'd like to just table their annual report for anyone who's interested. It was a good meeting, well attended, and they've got their own strategic plan. There's actually quite a good report in there, and they've also got sections of the report from the local iwi, so Ngāti Hikairo, Mahuta, Tuihi, and so on. They've all contributed towards that report, so it was quite interesting. So I don't know if you want to pass those around, Michael. Perhaps keep one for file. And that was me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffries. Councillor Wood.
So the Head Start meeting the other week, and a North King Country Development Trust meeting, which we've got a meeting with service providers within the district coming up next month. So that'd be cool to see who's doing what around the area in terms of community support. Otherwise, reasonably busy on farm with carving at the moment. But from a college point of view, building started on the new science lab today. So took a wee while to get there, but we've got everything across the line now. So I look forward to that progressing over the next 6 months.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, Chris.
Just the standard workshops that everyone's been doing, and LTP, Head Start, Elevate meeting, lots of catch-ups with different people asking about Head Start. So it's quite cool to have that conversation with people. And spent about, I don't know, 5 days down in Christchurch. Love Christchurch, love Lime Scooters, with Waikato basketball under 16s, and they got bronze.
Councillor Barker.
Yeah, just our standard stuff for me. So our community board meeting was cancelled this month. just workshop and the Head Start meeting with Waitomo. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Barr.
Pretty similar to Michael, spent the last month covered in Mugu. Mainly just
Make
Mirror
the money.
Relief Fund, Head Start meeting, workshops, that's about.
Thank you. Councillor Butcher.
Kia ora. Yes, just the same workshop, Head Start, LTPs, and then spent the Matariki weekend out at Kawhia, and then also 22nd of July I went with Rodney to the Kindy Matariki morning, and that was really cool, especially to see the Kindy sort of, they had a bit of flooding in there and that they're back on track with especially their playground area. It didn't get into the building, but it was a bit of a mission with their playground area, taking it all out and putting it back in again. And just to see that they're going really well down there, good support for the community.
Thank you. We're on to the resolution.
Register. Okay, so just a few resolutions in the public section of the council meeting. So that first one around alcohol fees bylaw business case, we were recommending that that be removed from the register because it was on the agenda today, but because it's been deferred, we'll keep it on there. All right, so we'll have that remain on the register. Adoption of the annual plan, we're recommending be removed. Rates resolution associated with that be removed. The receipt of the severe weather event recovery action plan, removing that, and the older person's housing policy, recommending that we remove that. Just, I guess, to let you know that Kerry has visited all of the pensioners to let them know about it, and is kind of going back, I think, to work through some of the accommodation supplement sort of details with them. So yeah, providing as much support as we can to the residents in Kawhia as well as Ōtorohanga. And the public excluded resolutions, we've just got a couple there around the appointment of the independent chairperson and my 6-month review that we're recommending. They come out of the, oh, they're out already. Oh, we're just noting it. Oh, okay, we're noting those. It's a staff recommendation for the removal of, and we'll take C65 off that list, so it's the other ones except C65.
So just on C78, like this weather event recovery action plan, just some infrastructural things like that that we may want to look into.
Yeah.
Should we leave that on there, or is that more for the actual civil defence?
So those will come back to you. So I guess the line, and that only significant changes requiring governance decisions will be reported back. So that will be, I guess, actions that you want to pursue, actions you want to pursue that require your input will come back to you. So if it's a large expenditure, some of the things will come back through the long-term plan, like when Mark presents the roading AMP, the stormwater, water services delivery plan, those kinds of things will be a chance for some of the actions to be picked up through there. But the actual receipt of this recovery action plan, we're saying you've received it, and that comes off the register.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Councillor Carr?
No, I'm good.
Oh, you got your light on, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So hang on, we'll get to the resolution. The Ōtorohanga District Council confirmed the removal of resolutions C76, C77, C78 and C79 from the register. Do I have a mover? Yes, Councillor Wilbur, second Councillor Carr. All in favour? Aye, carried. Right.
Okay, we're going to have to take a break because we're well ahead of time, and we've got quite a full shop. Must be the good reports. No, I mean the good, excellent cheering. So yeah, we'll take a break because the Kiwi House are due at 11:30 and it's 10 past. So yeah, talk amongst yourselves and get a cuppa and today will take us on.
So it's just, if we,
Oh yeah, good point, Katrina. So we've just sent you all Rebecca has just sent you all an email with the Head Start latest version for your reading ease. The changes have been highlighted and also put in a separate table for you to refer to. So you don't have to read the whole 40-page document again unless you really want to. And we need your feedback by 8 a.m. tomorrow because we've got agendas to get out by Thursday. So that would be really good if you could give us that today. Yeah, ASAP, then we can get on with it. So it's been sent to the Waitomo elected members as well.
welcome.
Yeah, perhaps if, I could, just introduce everybody here. So,
Please.
we've got representatives from the Kiwi House. Peter McCara, who's the, newly appointed, General Manager, Jenny Martin, who's newly appointed, Board Member, and Kim Hingham, Board Chair. So they're here, this first part of the meeting to, present, the quarterly report, which is a requirement under the loan agreement. So I'll hand over to Peter and Jenny to do that. At the conclusion of this meeting, we're going to go into public excluded workshops. So I just ask councillors that we're an open meeting, so any questions that relate to items that have been circulated in that workshop, if you could just wait till then that we're on air. And apart from that, I'll hand over to Peter.
Okay. Kim. You should know Kim's the boss, Graham. The real boss.
Yeah, right, Rodney. Thank you very much for having us here today. It's lovely to see everyone. Yes, obviously everyone knows who I am. I'll just throw to these guys to do a quick intro and then come back to me for a little go. Yeah, thanks, Jenny.
Yeah. I'm Jenny Martin, but my grandparents were here for quite a long time, John and Maureen Bush. So, but I come from Taranaki, but I came back. So I've been at Bellingham for about 17 or so years now. Come through the ranks. I'm now chartered accountant and partner, and then just newly appointed board member of the Kiwi House.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Awesome. Well,
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Whakatere te Maunga, ko Waimatawa, ko Ngāpu te Iwi. So hail from up north, and been at the Kiwi House since January after being poached by Kim. So pleased to be here.
Thanks, Jane. Yes, and actually that's true. We offered Pete the job at the Kiwi House and he decided he didn't want it. So I thought about that for a little while and I thought, no, actually, that's not the right answer. So yeah, we managed to twist his arm and get him back, which is fabulous. He's been amazing and very pleased to have Jenny on board from this Thursday. She'll take over at the treasurer position at the Charitable Trust. And we're really stoked to have her skills with us. So yeah, really good. So I'll just do a quick little bit of a speech and then we can throw to these guys for any questions that anyone might have. So it's actually only a little more than a year ago I became the chair of the Kiwi House Charitable Trust. It seems like a lot's happened, but it was only that amount of time. I just had to recheck the year. I thought, seems like I've been here longer. We've worked really hard and I'm pleased to say that the Charitable Trust is entering a new phase, and that's of strategic maturity and combining our established conservation purpose with stronger commercial discipline, governance capability and long-term planning. Board's ambition is to position the Kiwi House as a nationally significant conservation and tourism organisation while still preserving our charitable status, our community identity and our commitment to local stewardship. A central focus is exploring a strategic partnership with an aligned national organisation that could bring additional capability, expertise, investment and reach. Alongside this, the board is strengthening engagement with inbound tourism operators, regional tourism organisations and national tourism networks to build a clear understanding of visitor demand and growth opportunity, of which we think there are many. We have experienced advisors to the Trust in finance, investment, governance and strategic planning, and they are supporting our major decisions through robust modelling, commercial analysis and long-term thinking. So I guess with all that, the intended outcome is for us to be a really resilient organisation that's able to grow visitation and revenue, accelerate our redevelopment, expand our conservation and education outcomes, and reinvest future surpluses for the benefit of New Zealand's wildlife, the Ōtorohanga District as a whole, and future generations of people that live here. So I'm actually feeling really grateful to be able to be leading this excellent team alongside Pete and of course all our hardworking and loyal staff. So as Pip alluded to, it's a really exciting time. We seem to have come a long way in a year. And yeah, looking high and wide for the future. So yeah, tēnā koe. Any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Oh, amazing.
You're welcome.
That's a great report. Oh, Councillor Butcher.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Dow. Sorry, questions in regards to what Tim has just said or
No, the whole
presentation?
The public.
Oh, okay.
The
I do.
open public.
Not the workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, the financial report.
Yeah.
I actually do, probably from the accounting view ahead. I do have a few. It's really more trying to understand certain probably expenses. The revenue I quite understand, but some of the expenses and then some of them have doubled. And just I mean, I can, yeah. And also just wanting to understand a bit more about the cash clearing account. So let's work with that one first.
I'll just jump in. I think the intention was for Pete to present his report and for Virginia to present her report as well. And then we can just take questions after that. And then yeah, so
I think we're ready.
No, so
we're trying to move this meeting along.
No, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, great introduction. There was no questions about it. So now we're on to Peter, or is it Peter or Jenny next? Jenny. How's the money one?
So yeah, I prepared these financial accounts, even though it's been here about a month. But I've been through most of what it contains. So obviously, the biggest form of revenue is ticket sales, and then retail, shop retail, and then government grants, which is the last of the IRG funding from the development. So yeah, obviously with the income increased and the expenses have also increased in line with that. With the biggest one, well, it is actually a drop in employee remuneration. And then, but we've also, compared to last year, we've separated out the wetter costs, which was in different categories last year, but we haven't been able to identify those, but we've broken those down to identify those separately, showing that that's a separate significant project that's being undertaken. So the balance sheet shows, yes, there is a decrease in cash that was mainly spent with the government grants being spent on further development during the year, which I believe was in the later part of 25, finishing off the ANEC part of the program development, which is why development in progress also increased. The expenses have dropped slightly, and there's an unspent grant which has specific intentions, and we'll be purchasing those shortly. That's about it, really. From that. Oh, I forgot there was capital items during the year. There was the solar project which was funded through donations, but that will help reduce future costs. And then there was some wetter enclosure costs for the significant ones, and then a couple of items bought from the Gallagher grant.
Thank you.
So I won't focus too much on financials. Jenny's just done that. So I think the key message for me for the council is that, as you know, the Kiwi House has been here for 50 years, and strategically we're looking at the next 50 years. So we're taking a long-term approach to what we're doing now, but also in the future for anything strategic. And so what that means for us, it's about establishing both local, regional and national partnerships that really leverage what we're currently doing and what we want to be doing in the future. So a key part of my role sitting on the board is understanding what we currently look like and start to navigate what we need to look like for that future. Because we want that long-term approach. So that's what we're taking around financials, that's what we're taking around strategic as well. In terms of performance, despite all the interesting environmental events over the past year, we've actually performed from a visitation point of view extremely well, just slightly less than the previous year. And I guess that's just all credit to both the community, but also the staff in terms of the backbone of the organisation is around staff and staff commitment. And they've held that for quite some time. So my role really is to start putting in place some really good business hygiene to really create the environment for the organisation to start to build and enable us to be able to scale from a conservation and education point of view. That's also a backbone of the organisation. That's something that we do extremely well. We're having a positive impact, not just in terms of the capped environment that we currently do with Kiwi House, but also in terms of the regional environment as well. Releasing 4 kaka into Ōtorohanga is an example of the impact that we're having outside of the Kiwi House as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we've got on to questions. Councillor Butcher.
Yep.
Just say that it's not that we have. So to come back to you in detail.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome report. Thank you very much for it. Very detailed. And probably because I work in the environment. Look, there's a few there that look like they've doubled, but without really going into it right now and taking a lot of time, I can talk with you guys later. But one of them was the wetter costs. Now that that's sort of established, do you envisage that will come down? I know it'll still be a regular cost, but now that you've established that, do you think that will come down in future years, or?
The cost overall, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
So we are in negotiations with Station, like right at the moment, and something is just about to be signed and just about to be released around those, around this.
Right.
Yeah. So we kind of like waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will be a significant contribution towards that.
Right.
And ongoing project. It's a 10-year program.
Yeah. And with the waste disposal, it's doubled, and in the essence of the Kiwi House being as environmentally friendly and as possible, is that just a cost thing, or is it still you're working through?
There was a lot of work done around tree clearing and things, so showing that it may be semi-related to that. I feel like they must have had a good clean out at some point, ongoing clearing out. I wasn't around at the time, but they've also had a pest incursion, so they have to nip that in the butt, so there's unexpected costs for that.
So that comes under that. Yeah, okay. And then my last question really is the FPOS fees, the recovery for the actual fees, not the haulage of the FPOS. That's gone up even though you've got income coming from recovering it, and they don't exactly cancel each other out. So there's more in that expense than the income coming off it.
That's been a new policy. I don't believe it's 100% recovery, but it's a high percentage recovery.
Yeah.
And there may be a little bit of because it was a new treatment, earlier payments might not have been quite coded correctly, but we're tracking that going forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I just got one little question. Given that there's bird flu down Wairarapa and that, do we vaccinate the birds or? Yeah.
Actually, that's a genuine question. We've done quite a bit of work in that, and we actioned it straight away as soon as we were in Australia. The board approved the policy last year in terms of the protocol for avian flu, so the board was well ahead of the game as well. The actual vaccination program has been driven by MPI, and they've nominated the animals that are to be vaccinated, so we don't have control over that. We've requested that some of our tiger species be considered for that,
Yeah.
and we're awaiting that response.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Jeffries.
Oh, thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, you just asked my question actually about bird flu. But there was one other one, under the liabilities in the statement of financial position. There's a line item there for unspent grants with conditions attached as at 31 May. Have those grants actually come through since then?
That's money that has been received before year end, but has not been applied to the relevant expenses as of yet. But we are in the process of spending the money on the designated items.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So as at today, that would be zero, or it'd be like.
That's that. Yeah. No, we've spent some of that money. It'll show up in the next financials. It's the reason that it's taking longer than what we'd like is because we're navigating the invoicing to the organisation. It's the way that we want them to invoice us, so we've got to approach it that way.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Fair enough.
and then we've got to try and find others. So when we approached for the funding, some of the providers that we had in place, that stock's no longer available. So we've got to search again and get resources sent in. So we've spent some of it, which will show up in this pictures.
Oh, well, I just wanted to perhaps congratulate you too. It's a very comprehensive financial report, and there's a lot of information in there. So appreciate the effort that's gone into that. Thank you. And can I also just acknowledge how great it is to see a new sign. If you come into town by Apple's there. It's been a long time.
We were very, very fortunate to have Steel and Tube New Zealand sponsor all the new signage, but it has just taken a wee bit longer than anyone would like to get into place. But no, it does look great. Yeah. And can I just also say from the charitable trust point of view in our relationship with the council, we love having brand around our council table. Yeah.
You get a big head. Yeah.
I know. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, he's obviously a very strategic and smart man, and it's just really good having that really good. He didn't pay me, honestly. Yeah, it's just really good having that like genuine open relationship and the ability to, there's nothing goes sort of like, I don't know, behind closed doors.
No, I heard he's going to volunteer for your board when he retires.
Pay rate's not very good.
Yeah, but anyway, no, we honestly, we really appreciate that, and we just feel like it is actually part of our book. So, yeah, good work at the council. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor Butcher, you got another question?
Yes, sorry, there was one more. Just a just double confirming what I think it is. Other non-current assets, work in progress. The figures there, are they currently add up to what you've spent over those works in progress? Is that what those figures are? Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, all good. No more questions?
Well, I was just going to say, at the top of page, I think it's page 171 for us. You've got an audit fee there. We'd very much be interested in who your auditors are. If you can get an audit done for $60, hey, we're in it. So, yeah.
The audit fees they've not been accrued yet. So yeah, that will change. But when I was doing the accounts, that's what it was. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Should. No, thank you for that report. So we'll have to remove it, don't we? Back to me. Staff recommendation is the Ōtorohanga District Council received the Ōtorohanga Kiwi House Charitable Trust's progress report to the 31st of May 2026. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Jeffries, second Councillor Carr. All in favour? Right. So, thank you very much for attending our open public meeting today.
Thanks, everybody.
We are, yeah, thank you. And we're going to close the meeting. Public. We're going to do a closing cut here. So we'll just do a closing cut here for the public part of the meeting. Mā te whakapono, mā te tumanako, mā te titiro, mā te whakarongo, mā te mahitahi, mā te manaui, mā te araha, ka te tātou. Thank you. We can turn the live stream off now.